I am here with the man, the myth, the legend, Reggie from Nintendo. Reggie had a lot of big announcements this morning at the Keynote. What are some of the things Iwata spoke about today?
Well, first we talked about Revolution, and we shared information on our technology partners, which are IBM and ATI. We shared that Revolution is going to be backwards compatible, so all those guys who are not quite sure whether or not to buy Zelda can buy it with absolutely no concerns. And we also shared that Revolution is going to be internet capable right out of the box, which for us is a major commitment. We also talked about internet capability for Nintendo DS, and we shared a little videotape of the first game that we'll be doing, which is Animal Crossing. We also shared some other great games for DS. 8-person Mario Kart. We shared a new game that's called Nintendogs, as well as a new experiment called Electoplankton. So a lot of great news out there.
Nintendogs is just one of the coolest, most original things I've seen in a long time, but can you explain a little bit to our readers?
Sure. What Nintendogs is all about, it's a virtual pet game, but so much more than that. You pick out a dog, we'll have north of a dozen different breeds available. So you pick out your puppy, you train it with voice commands, and then you do things like show it in dog shows to get money for food, for collars, for all of this variety of activity, and you really form an emotional attachment to your pet. The thing that I love about it, the voice activation utilization is huge. And really, it's our first game that really takes that to a whole new level. The other piece I love is the AI in this game is off the hook. What you're able to do in terms of teaching your dog, in terms of tricks and things, is pretty phenomenal. So I'm excited about it.
That's excellent. You mentioned Animal Crossing. It's going to be Wi-Fi, is that correct?
That's correct. What it's going to allow you to do is play against your buddy across the street or your buddy across the world. You know, I know that the internet issue has been one that's been around Nintendo for a while. And historically, we've made the comment that it's not a business we wanted to get into until we figured out how to do it profitably for us and really to have it a great proposition for the consumer. Well, what we've done is we've figured out how to build the infrastructure in a way that makes sense. And it's going to be free for the consumer. So we think we've got a great proposition for internet play, both on DS as well as for Revolution.
So as you're well aware, the PSP comes out in a couple of weeks. Does that impact your DS strategy at all?
You know, by the time PSP comes out, we will have sold roughly 2.5 million Nintendo DSs just here in the United States. Almost 6 million Nintendo DSs worldwide. So we have a pretty substantial head start. They're going to do what they're going to do. We're going to do what we're going to do. We've had a fantastic launch. We've had great success with WarioWare. There are a number of fantastic third-party titles that come out April, May, and June. And then we've got Metroid Prime Hunters, and then we've got Mario Kart, plus a couple other games up my sleeve that we'll talk more about at E3. So we're pretty confident that we've got a strong plan to drive DS all through now and into the holidays.
So you're just locked and loaded, ready to rock with the DS?
We're locked, loaded, ready to do some battle.
Iwata talked about the 4 eyes in his keynote. It's almost like Nintendo's new philosophy. What are those?
The 4 eyes are, first, innovation, really pushing the envelope, doing things new and different versus the tried and true. The second is inviting, meaning appealing to the core consumer as well as the casual gamer. Third, the power of the interface, and that's all about how you relate to the game. And the third is making things intuitive, easy to get into, easy to have success with. Those are the 4 eyes, and they really frame what we're trying to do ongoing. We did it with Nintendo DS, and that's the philosophy that we're taking forth with Revolution as well.
From what I understand, people were actually a little bit surprised at how quickly the DS sold. Is this true?
You know, I wouldn't say that we were surprised. We knew it would sell well out of the box. I think the fact that we have constantly taken up our volume forecast really has made people wake up and take notice. You know, when we started with DS, we said that we'd be happy if we sold 3 million units in our current fiscal year that ends the last day in March. We then raised it to 4, then to 5, and now we sit here 6 million is the target on a worldwide basis. Europeans get their first DS later today at midnight our time, so it really is a worldwide phenomenon.
What is it about the DS that appeals to that many people?
I think it's the combination of two screens, touch screen, the wireless play that you could do now in a local area network, the fact that we embedded PictoChat into the system, as well as here in the Americas, the fact that we made Metroid Prime Hunter's First Hunt available out of the box. I think it was a great bundle of benefits. At $150, it's readily accessible. The software's been fantastic. I think it's been that whole combination that's really made this work for us.
Earlier we talked about Revolution, and you mentioned that you're working with IBM, ATI, and it's going to be backwards compatible. I'm sure our viewers want to know, when's the next set of information coming out?
E3. We'll be sharing a lot more information at E3. I'll tell people right up front, just to manage expectations, it's not going to have a huge presence on the floor that the public can access, but we will have some select folks taking a look at some of the offerings for Revolution in a backroom space, and we're very excited. It really is going to be a phenomenal system.
Well, aren't you afraid that some kids are now going to try to break into your secret room at E3?
The kids have been trying to break into my house. They've been trying to break into all of the things we're doing. We're going to have more than enough information for the fans, I think, to keep folks motivated and to make sure that everyone understands what we're doing and believes in what we're doing.
No console company has fans that are as passionate as Nintendo fans. Why? What is it about Nintendo that gets the gamer love?
I think the reason we get the gamer love is we've been at the forefront of innovation and creating fantastic systems and, frankly, fantastic games. I mean, we've got Mario, we've got Donkey Kong, we've got Zelda, we've got all of these fantastic franchises, and I think it's that storehouse of great product that just gets the fans so excited.
When I covered the DS launch at Universal City, one of the kids in line just said, "I just bought it because it's Nintendo. I don't even know what it is. I don't even have any games for it. It's Nintendo. I'm a Nintendo crackhead." That's what he said, not me. So, yeah, it's awesome that you get fans like that.
It really is phenomenal. Just even walking around this Game Developers Conference, to see people walking around in vintage T-shirts. I saw one guy with a Zelda shirt that said, "Don't make me go Zelda on you." I mean, it's what we're about, and I think the fans recognize that we're gaming at its core. We're not into a lot of other businesses. We're all about providing fantastic games for the consumer. That's what we do.
So, for Game Developers Conference, aside from the keynote, what are Nintendo's goals here?
Well, our goal is really to spend great quality time with the developers, to help them understand what we're doing, to feed them some great information on DS, on Revolution, to make sure that the backlog of support is there across all of our platforms. That's our objective.
Is there going to be more outreach with Revolution and DS? One of the things people have been critical of is that Nintendo doesn't have great third-party support.
Absolutely. We're going to have a lot more outreach. We've got a full team here that's all focused on driving outreach for the developers in terms of technical support, dev kits. I'll put it this way. When we were in the process of developing games for Nintendo DS, for the first time, we made dev kits available essentially for free. We'd never done that before. I mean, we're taking developer support quite seriously. But it's not only getting the dev kits, but it's also getting, if you will, inside information to what it is that we're doing on the marketing side, how we're looking to go to market. I mean, that's very valuable for developers as well.
Reggie, have you ever seen all those Photoshop pictures of you on the internet?
I have to say I have seen them all, and it was first brought to my attention by my now 15-year-old son, who called me about 2 days after E3 and said, "Dad, you're famous." And he sent me the link. So I've seen them, and they're fabulous. And I'm honored that the fans went through all of that effort to pull those things together.
Do you have a favorite one?
Actually, the one that I've used in presentations is when there's a picture of me with my hands open, and someone photoshopped an Xbox and a PS2 and then put beams coming out of my eyes, blowing them up. I like that shot. I've used that one before.
I've actually seen a modified version of that where the beams from your eyes are blowing up the Death Star.
Oh, I have to go back online and go check them out.
So what does that feel like? I mean, you're an icon to Nintendo fans. Is that a bit weird for you?
It is a little bit weird, especially I'm a team type of guy. for me to be here, it was all about helping Mr. Iwata give a very, very successful presentation. I've been personally honored to meet Mr. Miyamoto. I mean, for the fans to be that enthralled with who I am, I'm pretty honored. But for me, it's all about the company. It's all about driving the company forward. So that's my focus.
How are you changing Nintendo's image? You've done a lot of work in making the company appeal to an older audience. What's next?
Well, it's frankly continuing that effort. Making sure that we're perceived as the gotta have system. I've used the comment, and now it's been ripped off by other people, of owning the hearts and minds of the 17-year-old. And that's what we're all about. It's really making sure that the core fans look to us and feel that we are still supporting them, as well as making sure that we keep track of what's going on with the more casual consumer. What I'm talking about over the last couple of days here at GDC is that Nintendo needs to be an and company. It's not the casual gamer or the core. It's not first party or third party. It's got to be both. We need to be an and company. I mean, every day I'm applying lessons from my early career at Procter & Gamble, from my time in the bicycle business, my time with VH1. They're constantly lessons that are reapplied, and I think that's frankly what's helped me have a pretty successful first year with the company.
What do you think your biggest achievements were in your first year in the company?
I have to say, a successful launch of Nintendo DS, hugely successful, and frankly pulled together in a very, very short period of time. We probably first mentioned Nintendo DS about this time last year, and to sit back a year later having sold almost 2.5 million units is pretty successful. A hugely successful E3 I'm also quite proud of. I'm also quite proud of what we've done from an overall imaging standpoint on Game Boy Advance, on GameCube. So those are probably the three most interesting things from my perspective after the first year.
And your big goals for this year are?
Big goals for this year, to continue driving Nintendo DS and making that the gotta-have system that we want it to be. To do all of the great planning to successfully launch Revolution. And third, continuing to build stronger and better relationships with the development community are really the three things I've got on my project list right now.
So we'll learn more at E3. The revolution begins.
The revolution continues at E3, and certainly everyone will learn a lot more, not only about Revolution, but also SP and DS.
So hopefully we'll see Reggie again in a few months.
You certainly will. Thank you.